Do you ever feel like your body just isn't listening anymore? Like the energy you once had has packed its bags and left without a forwarding address? Maybe you find yourself hesitating before standing up, or stiffness makes simple things feel like a mountain climb. It's a quiet frustration many of us face as the years add up, feeling a little weaker, a little less agile, sometimes even like you're fading away from the vibrant person you used to be. You might just accept it as a natural part of aging. That feeling of just not being quite right in your own skin. Maybe a persistent ache here, a stiffness there, limiting what you can do, stealing a bit of your independence. But what if I told you there was a simple, natural way that helped me start pushing back against that feeling? Not with complicated exercises or expensive gadgets, but something incredibly simple that took just 2 weeks to begin feeling a real difference. This isn't about turning back time entirely, but about reclaiming some of that lost vitality and feeling stronger, more capable. It's about my own journey from feeling truly weak to starting to feel like a warrior again. All thanks to something surprisingly straightforward. In this video, I'm going to share how a simple, natural approach I explored over just 14 days began to transform how I felt in my body, easing discomfort and bringing back energy I thought was gone for good. This journey was unexpected, and the results surprised even me. Make sure you watch right to the end, because what I discovered and how quickly it worked might genuinely surprise you too. So, I was feeling it. That familiar drag. Getting out of bed felt like shedding a heavy blanket. Shoulders were tight. Hips protested every step, and my hands often felt stiff and achy, especially first thing in the morning. It wasn't just a little tired. It was a pervasive sense of physical weakness that seemed to be seeping into everything I did. Lifting groceries, reaching for something on a high shelf. Even just walking around the block felt more effort than it should. I started avoiding things I loved because of it. Gardening, too much bending and kneeling. Long walks. My knees and back wouldn't thank me. Playing with the grandkids on the floor. Forget about it. The getting up part was just too much. It was a slow erosion of my physical confidence. And honestly, it started to wear on my spirit too. I kept thinking, is this just how it is now? I tried gentle stretching, trying to stay active, but it felt like paddling against a current that was just too strong. I wasn't ready to just accept it. I started looking into different things, anything that might help. That's when I stumbled across the idea of using natural massage. Not necessarily going to a therapist every day, which isn't practical or affordable for most of us, but simple techniques I could do myself, right at home. The idea was appealing because it felt gentle and non-invasive, something that could support the body rather than push it aggressively. I wasn't looking for a miracle cure, just something to ease the discomfort and maybe give me a little boost. I decided to commit to trying some basic, natural massage techniques every day for 2 weeks, just to see if it made any difference at all. I started by focusing on the areas that bothered me most: my hands, shoulders, neck, and lower back. I read up on some very simple techniques. Nothing complicated, just gentle strokes, pressing lightly with my thumbs or knuckles, and incorporating warmth, maybe with a warm cloth or just the warmth of my hands. My first few attempts felt awkward. I wasn't sure if I was doing it right, or if it was even doing anything. I started small, just 5 or 10 minutes in the morning. I would rub my hands together vigorously to create warmth, then gently massage each finger, the palms, and the back of my hands. It felt nice, soothing even, but the stiffness was still there. For my shoulders and neck, I learned a simple technique of using my fingertips to gently press and make small circles along the base of my skull and across the top of my shoulders. I used my knuckles to rub along the tension spots I could feel. It was a bit tender in places, a clear sign of knots and tightness. But I made sure to be gentle, never pushing into real pain. For my lower back, which often ached after sitting or standing for too long, I tried using the backs of my hands or even a rolled-up towel placed behind me while sitting, leaning gently into it. In the evenings, before bed, I would often sit with my feet up and gently massage my ankles and the soles of my feet. Our feet take such a pounding all day, and paying them a little attention just felt right. I found that even these short, simple sessions felt like a moment of self-care. A small pause in the day dedicated just to feeling a little bit better. I wasn't expecting dramatic results overnight, but I paid attention to how my body felt during and after each session. The immediate effect was usually just a sense of relaxation, maybe a little warmth in the area I had worked on. The stiffness was still present, especially in the mornings, but there was a subtle feeling of having woken up those areas. The key, I realized quickly, was consistency. It was easy to forget or skip a day when I didn't see instant changes, but I reminded myself I had committed to the 2 weeks, so I kept going. Day after day, morning and sometimes evening. It was about building a new routine, a new way of connecting with my body. I wasn't doing deep tissue work. It was more like gentle persuasion, encouraging my muscles to release some of the tension they were holding on to. I started to notice that during the massage itself, the areas I was working on felt less resistant over time. The tight spots in my shoulders seemed a little softer. My hands felt a bit more pliable. It wasn't a huge change, but it was enough to keep me motivated to continue with the second week. This wasn't just about rubbing muscles. It was about stimulating circulation, about bringing awareness back to parts of my body that I had honestly just started to ignore or treat with a kind of resigned acceptance of their limitations. As the second week began, I felt a subtle shift. It wasn't like suddenly I could run a marathon. Not at all. But the morning stiffness in my hands seemed less pronounced. They still felt a bit tight, but it took less effort to loosen them up. I continued with my morning hand massage ritual, finding I could apply a little more pressure without discomfort, really working into the pads of my fingers and thumbs. I also started incorporating a simple wrist rotation after the massage, both clockwise and counterclockwise, which seemed to help with overall flexibility. For my shoulders and neck, I added a technique using a small ball, like a tennis ball or a specially designed massage ball, to lean against a wall and gently roll it over the tight spots in my upper back and shoulders. This allowed me to apply steady, controlled pressure to areas I couldn't reach effectively with just my hands. I'd spend a few minutes on each side, finding spots that were particularly tender and just breathing into the discomfort as it slowly eased. It was incredible how much tension we hold in these areas without even fully realizing it. The lower back was still a challenge to reach, so I started using the ball technique there too, lying on the floor with the ball placed under a tender spot and just letting my body weight apply the pressure. Again, it was about slow, steady pressure, not forcing anything. I found that doing this for even just 5 minutes in the evening made a noticeable difference in how my back felt when I woke up the next morning. I also paid more attention to my legs and feet during the second week. Simple things like using the palms of my hands to stroke firmly up my calves, or using my thumbs to press along the arches of my feet. I read that stimulating these areas can improve circulation and help with overall energy levels, and I was starting to believe it. By the middle of the second week, the changes were becoming more undeniable. Getting out of bed still wasn't effortless, but it felt easier. There was less creaking, less resistance. My shoulders felt less hunched, and I could turn my head more freely without that familiar catch in my neck. My hands felt stronger, less prone to aching after simple tasks like writing or holding a book. I even noticed I could open tight jars more easily. It was these small, practical improvements that really hit home. I started feeling more confident moving around. I wasn't just pushing through discomfort anymore. The discomfort itself was lessening. I started incorporating a simple self-massage on my face and scalp too. Just gentle rubbing motions with my fingertips. It felt incredibly relaxing, and I noticed I was holding less tension in my jaw and forehead. It wasn't just the physical benefits. There was a mental shift happening too. The act of taking that time for myself, even just 10 or 15 minutes a day, felt empowering. It was a conscious effort to care for my body, to not just let it decline. I was actively participating in my own well-being. The consistency was key. Even on days when I didn't feel like it, I would do a shorter session, just to keep the habit going. I learned that even 5 minutes of gentle hand massage or using the ball against the wall was better than nothing. It was becoming less of a chore and more of a welcome part of my day, a time to check in with my body and see what it needed. This simple, natural approach, focusing on gentle pressure, warmth, and consistency, was proving to be far more effective than I had dared to hope. It wasn't about punishing my muscles or trying to force flexibility. It was about nourishing them, encouraging blood flow, and releasing accumulated tension. I was starting to feel not just less weak, but genuinely stronger and more resilient, and more. And that's how, over just 2 weeks, I started feeling like a warrior again. Not in the sense of being ready for battle, but in the sense of feeling capable, resilient, and ready to face the day with more energy and less discomfort. The persistent stiffness that had been a constant companion began to loosen its grip. The aches that limited my movement became less sharp, less frequent. I found myself reaching for things without a second thought, bending over in the garden with more ease, and feeling more comfortable just moving through my day. It's incredible the difference a little bit of focused, natural attention can make. It wasn't about finding a magical cure or a quick fix. It was about consistent, gentle effort using nothing more than my own hands, and perhaps a simple tool like a ball. It showed me that we don't have to passively accept every physical limitation that comes with age. We have more agency than we might think. And sometimes, the simplest, most natural approaches are the most powerful. This journey taught me the value of listening to my body, of understanding where it holds tension, and of gently encouraging it to release. It reinforced the idea that small, consistent actions truly can lead to significant improvements in how we feel day to day. It's not about perfection or needing hours of time. Just those dedicated few minutes each day started a ripple effect that brought back a sense of physical freedom I had genuinely missed. So, if you're feeling that same sense of physical weakness, that stiffness or ache that holds you back, please know that you don't have to just live with it. Exploring simple, natural techniques like the gentle self-massage methods I discovered can make a real difference. It's about giving your body the care and attention it deserves, stimulating circulation, and helping those tight muscles finally relax. Remember, small changes, consistently applied, can indeed make a big difference to your health and happiness, especially as we get older. Finding even just 10 minutes a day to focus on areas of discomfort, using gentle massage, can be a powerful step towards feeling stronger and more capable. You don't need special equipment or advanced knowledge to start, just your hands and a willingness to try. It's about nurturing your body, not fighting it. If anything in my journey resonated with you, or if you found other natural ways to feel better in your body, I would absolutely love to hear about it. Your experiences could help so many others. Please share your thoughts or any tips you have in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a like. It helps me know I'm creating content that matters to you. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to my channel. I share all sorts of ideas and tips for living a vibrant, fulfilling life at every age. And I'd love to have you join our community. Don't let the years dictate your capabilities entirely. You have the power to nurture your body and reclaim your strength. Embrace the journey, be gentle with yourself, and live your best life at every age.